Hello everyone, welcome to the today's lecture. In this lecture, we will learn about what is methods in Java. We will see type of methods like user-defined methods and built-in methods in Java provided by the Java library. And we will also learn about the what is method overloading, how we can use same method with different parameters, and we will see basic difference between the static versus non-static methods in Java. So this complete lecture will mainly focus on implementation part. We are not discussing about the definitions and about theoretical parts, right? So everything will be done with implementation only. Yeah, let's start with what is method. So basically, what is a method? Method is just like, if you can think about in general, what is a method? Method is just like some procedure or some instructions, right? Some steps to be followed to perform some specific task, right? So this is how in Java it is similar in Java. Like in Java, it's just a block of code. When we are giving some input to that method, it will give some output by performing some task, right? We'll writing some task in the method, right? We can use the same method with different scenarios. Let's take some. So I will. Let's take some example here. Like, so there is a e-commerce app, right? E-commerce app. So in e-commerce app, what you will find let me write it neatly, right? So in e-commerce app you will be having a modules like electronics, right? That is mobiles and tabs like computers. In another one, there is another module that is having like grocery, right? So when you open this module like electronics category, you will find some products in the electronics, right? So there will be given a 15% discount, 20% discount, right? So this is how you can, when you click on some electronic products in the electronic category, you will find like 15% discount. In grocery, you will find 20% discount. But when you click on this product, the method calculate discount will be called based on the category and the product, right? And when you click on the grocery, let's say any grocery, right? So the discount method is will be called based on the category of the product and product name. So both the time the calculate discount will be calculated only, there is only one method will be called. There is no separate method for this one. There is no separate method for, there is a single method calculate calculate discount, right? So that will be taking some parameters, performing some task and giving output, right? So the original price of this product might be something X, and original price of this product is Y. When you're clicking on this electronics product, the original price like Y will be passed, and the discount 15% will be passed to the this calculated discount, right? This function will perform some task and you will give the output, resultant output, like after applying the 15% discount on the Y, it will be giving output of the result final price. So similar to like this one. So this is the same thing will be happen here also. So it will be passing the original price into the calculate discount. So after that it will be performing some task and it will be giving the final price. So this is how we can actually reuse the same method with different scenarios and different modules. What we actually did here. So for different modules or different scenarios, we use a single method. So which is a we achieved a reusability of the code here. So we don't need to write the same method with multiple times in multiple modules, right? This is how we can decrease our the or we can increase the modularity of the code, and this is how we can achieve the efficiency of the product, right? Yeah, this is how is the general real-time example I have discussed here. Yeah. So yeah, we don't need to remember these things, right? Write once, use many times, right? I will written the calculate distance one time, I may use this 100 times that same method, right? In different product and different categories. This is what we can say that we are reusability of the code in this. Methods can take inputs, like in this what the inputs are taking. So the method is taking input as price and the discount, right? The calculate discount. It may not take the inputs. They may program more organized, right? readable and modular. Let's Yeah, we discussed that. Let's say if you are writing the same method for different modules and different products, like for individual products, the code might be go very vast, right? It's just how it's not a good practice. So we will see the syntax of the what is method here. So you can see that initially we will be having access specifier here, right? When you are using the method in the same class, then you don't need to write this access specifier here. Then we will having return type, then method name. If you are passing some parameters to when you call the function method name, then you need to definitely there is some parameters that will receive our values, right? After that, we will be having return value. We will see what is access specifier. In access specifier, we will be having private. So we'll discuss this access specifier in the future videos. Like when we are learning about the OOPS object-oriented programming, we'll discuss deeply about these things. But as of now, let just I will be giving some overview here. Public and we will be having protected, right? So as of now, in this lecture, we are not we are not writing these the keywords before the method here. We're just using the by default access specifier. That is, that method can be used in the package. Complete package means I mean that is in complete folder. You can use this method. So I will be not using this. So we will be skipping this keyword here. Access specifier we will discuss in the object oriented programming. So next keyword is return type here. So what is return type? When you are passing something, right? You wanted to return something like I just wanted to ask the method like calculate discount. What does the method calculate discount will return? It will return some final output, right? Final price or final something like final price or final discount, right? So this is how we can return this value. This is what a return type comes. So return type may be primitive data type, right? Primitive data type, or it might be object. Okay, it might be class, or it might be like any Java collection frameworks like list, stack, queues. We'll discuss in future. So just skip these things. Don't focus on these things. We'll also return. We can also return these things like we can also return list, queues, linked list, right? We can return anything from these methods, right? So we'll write the yeah. This is a basic syntax of the methods in Java. So we'll be writing some method name like the whatever method you are writing about the addition, subtraction, or calculate discount, calculate EMI or something like it may be anything, and you will be having return type here, right? So you might be return some value after performing some task or some calculating some result here. And you can see here that the return type maybe there is one of the return type that is void return type. What does it mean? It will be return nothing, right? So when you are writing void, it means the function doesn't return anything. So you will be writing something return keyword and you are not writing anything after the return because it will not return anything. It just like calculate some result or you just want to perform print some messages or you want just want to store some result. So that's the what void method is doing. Yeah, let's move to the code editor. I just let's start with what some basic methods here. So I just want to declare one of the method. Let's say I want to add two numbers. Like I just want to write a method that can add two numbers, right? So it will take two parameters, right? And I just want to return the sum of these two numbers. You can see this is in what a return type is. We are returning integer, right? Sum of two numbers is integer. We are adding two integers here, and then I'm writing here method name, right? So these are called parameters, right? If I want to call this method, so I need to create an object of the class, right? I created object of this class. Now I will call like object dot. So we'll discuss like how do we create object with the of the class in OOPS concept. Just as of now, just think about this class. we created one instance. That means using this object you can interact with the class objects, right? So just let's say if I want to add 3 and 4, right? And I just want to do one thing, right? I want to print that result, so I will be, so this method is returning some a plus b, 3 plus 4 7, but I'm not catching the 7 result in any of the variable. Just I want to catch it, and I want to print it, right? Yeah, you can see, yeah, this is a current file. Let's run it. Yeah, you can see we are getting 7, right? So this is how we can create a simple method, and we'll call this method. Let's say if I will be writing void, it will be giving error because you can see that when I'm writing void here return type, that means it returns nothing, but you can see the return, it is returning sum of the two number, that is integer. So this is not returning. Just I want to make it as like, you can leave it like without with return, or you can do something like, you can print something like hello, right? But you can see that we are getting error here because we're catching some out return type of this method, but it returns nothing, right? It is not returning any value because, but we are catching some values in this our result of variable. So we just want to remove this one, right? We just want to calculate that one. I just want to comment it out. Yep. You can see that, or I can write a plus b also here. So the output would be hello and 7 here. This is how a simple void method is created. So it's an optional, you can write it return, or you can leave it without writing the return here. It will be execute without any errors, right? So this is how we can create a simple object, right? Simple method, and we'll create object of the class and we'll call these methods, right? Yeah. So here return type might be string also. Okay, this might be string also, this might be anything, like there would be a lot of return types. Let's say if I want to return some string into our result, just I want to erase it out. So what I can do is that I just want to return hello, right? But I just want to catch this output into some of the same string result here, or you can directly print this statement, you will get the same output, right? You can see that it will taking two parameters, right? But we don't want to pass the parameter, we just want to print the output as hello. Yeah, we are not printed anything, we are just commented out. And let's it uncomment it. Yeah, you can see that now it will be printing hello here, right? So this is how a basic methods look like in Java. So we'll move to the next thing. So that is type of methods. In Java, we'll be having like predefined methods or built-in methods provided by the Java libraries, like math library that will be provide the some methods like square root, maximum, minimum, right? And we'll be having user-defined method, means we just created on methods, right? Like grade method. These are the user-defined methods we have created by ourselves. And next thing is we'll be implements few of the math methods here. I just want to implement like, let's say I want to having a comma b, right? Let hard code it into b is equal to let me take 4. So if I want the square root of 4 b, right? So what I can do, math, I need to write the math dot square root. So this is a built-in method, right? You can see there are lot of built-in methods in math class. Math dots, yeah, yeah, you can see that. So these are the built-in methods that are provided by the math library. Sin h, square root, right? We just want to use the square root here, right? I just want to use the square root here. Square root of 4. Let me do this one. You can find the square root of any value, like double value, float value, right? That will be possible You can see 2.0. So why 2.0? You can see that I have used. You can see that I have used the double value, right? It will be taking double value. You can see that square root is taking double value, because in most of the cases you might find the number which is not perfect. Let's say this is a 5 which is not a perfect, and it will be giving output as in double value. This is how it would be by default, taking the value as double. You can say this is, it will be returning, right? And you can find a lot of functions like s out, math dot. To find the minimum of two numbers, you can just write the min of a comma b, right? This is how you can find the minimum of two numbers. And math dot absolute of, like, just I want to find the difference between 6 minus 8. You can see these are the, you can find a lot of methods. You can try out all these methods, right? So these are the built-in methods provided by the math library. And println is also a method, right? Built-in method, right? System.println scan. When we are doing writing the using the scanner class, we will having some lot of methods in the scanner class that are built-in methods. So these are the built-in methods in Java. Yeah, let's move to the next one. So next we will be having some like, yeah, we are done with this one. So what is method overloading? Yeah, this is quite important, and it's very easy. We don't need to do much here. So what is method overloading? You will be having multiple methods, right? I mean that with same name. Like, let's say you are having a application where you just want to write return the sum of the first sum of the a and b. Next you want to return the sum of two double values. Let's discuss in detail here. Let's say, yeah, this is the best example to define what is method overloading. Let's say this is the same method, right? Three are the same methods with same name, right? Methods having same name, but you can see that the parameter list is different here. So it is what defining method overloading here. So the list should be different, and return type may be different or same. It's not a problem, or it's not creating a impact here, but the parameters should be different. So when you call a function, let's say search product with the name. Let's say in your e-commerce application there is a module, like when you are clicking on the search, when you right typing on the search button, you will be providing name here, right? So in most of the cases you will be passing name. So it will simply, we will call in search product by passing the name. So automatically when you pass the name, so the method which is having the parameter as string name will be called instead of id, instead of name and category. This method will be called when you are passing the id. A method which is having parameter as id, int id, this will be called, right? So when you just passing the two parameters like name and string, this method will be called. You can see all these methods are same. They may be written same data same written same value, or they maybe have other written values, like different written values. It might be written double value, it might be written bull value, it might be written float value, right? But you can see that there are different parameter list. This is how we can define it's a method overloading, right? So instead of writing the search product by name, search product with ID, search product with this name category, this is not a more readable here. If you can see search product, so it's more readable, and you can see that it's a very clean, right? This is how the method overloading useful in the real world applications. Mainly improves readability, reusability. Yeah, both are happening. And it's a simple definition. Written type alone cannot differentiate overloaded methods. Let's say um, you will be having same parameter list, right? And yeah, sorry, when you are having like integer here and double here, these things are not differentiate the method overloading. I mean that they are not differentiating the same method or different methods here, right? Let's say you are having the method string name and string name here also, and same method name, but you are just changing the return type. They are the individuals are can't differentiate, like this simple integer, this double return type doesn't even differentiate the between the these two methods. The compiler will get confused about these things. I will implement these things. Let's go to the code area. I just want to commenting it out. What I want to do is that I just want to find the sum of two numbers, right? And initially, I have a requirement of adding two numbers. So it will just return the a plus b here. In the in future application or in future, I have a requirement of adding three numbers, right? And if you can go forward in the programming or in application, you might find some case that you want to find the, yeah, sum of the four numbers. Let's see. So it will be returning sum of three numbers. Return a plus b plus c, right? Yeah, these are three methods. Sorry, these are the three methods having same name, same return type, but different parameter list, right? Let's say I want to call this all these things, right? I will be calling like first add. Just do one thing right here. I just want to catch this our return type in some variable here. So I just want to create I definitely need to create an object here of the class lecture 6. This is the object created. Into result is equal to, I need to create object dot method name add. I just want to pass, I want the sum of the two numbers, let's say like 2 comma 3. So automatically the compiler will be getting to know that. So it will be directly calling to the method of add having lot of similar values but with two parameters, right? So let's say if I will be call the method which is having three parameters, it will directly call to this method. Yeah, sorry, I have provided something blank here. Yeah, you can see that it directly calling to the method which is having three parameters. How we are differentiating that same method with different parameters, right? So here the parameters are just only defining or differentiating the method here, just calling. I just want to print this result here. You can see that we'll get 9 here, right? So this is how the method overloading works. You can implement with the strings, you can implement with the any of the float, double values. Yeah, instead you can see that what is the advantage of this. Let's say if I want to just write a method of add two numbers, add three numbers, add four numbers. How it is hard to read the method name and how it is hard to keep these all these methods, right? Instead of that, we'll be just maintaining add here, right? This is how we can see that. Let's say if I just want to add the sum of the elements in the array, right? So this is an array which I passed into my method, that is add method. I just want to create one array here. Let's say int array is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. Yeah. I just want to call the add, but I just want to pass this array into my function. How will pass? Will directly pass like array, right? And you can see that this array is passed into the argument here. And I just want to find the sum of this. I just want to calculate the length of the array, right? LDMGTH. Okay. And I just want to write in the for loop, simple for loop here. Keep the one of the variable to calculate, uh, collect all these values of into the sum. Yeah, and I will simply return sum. You can see that which function is called now. This function is called, right? When you're passing this array, this is how we can pass this array, right? And immediately the compiler will know that the call the add method that is having our parameter as array, right? This is how we can simply define these things. Okay, and this is what a overloading. Yeah, you can pass the objects or anything in the method. We are done with. So let's discuss about the last topic: static versus non-static methods. So in most of the cases, you might see in the programming that we are written the static, right? We can see this is a static. What does it mean? So in general, static is just it means that it is belongs to the class, not an object, right? It means that I can use the static. It might be data fields like some or I can say this variable static variables. I can create some static variables, or I can have static methods, or I can have some static classes also. Even we'll discuss more in this in about this in the object oriented programming future lectures. But as of now, just think about the static. When you write the static, this method is belong to this class, right? Other than of this object. Let's say I have created an object. There is another way of using these methods. Instead of creating an object, what I can do is that let's remove this one. So there is a one way of directly accessing these elements using the static, right? So what I can do is I can write direct static. It means that what does it mean? It means that we can directly use these methods or variables without creating an object. They are not belong to object, they are belong to the class itself. So let's see how we'll do this one. Let's say I just want to, you can see that, right? I just want to, I think this is a method, right? I just want to keep the static. Yeah, you can see that we are not getting any error. Let's say what I'm doing here, I want to call the function like this function. I'm calling this function without creating an object. How will calling class name dot method name? This is how it's simple without creating an object, right? So this is what the static methods. So if you're not using static method, it means that if you are declaring the non-static methods, you should definitely create an object of the class. Then you will need to use those objects using the those methods using the objects. Yeah, these are the basic simple lines you can get understand from here. Belong to the class, not object, right? Can be called without creating an object. Yeah, it's true. And next thing is that belongs to an object, requires object creation to call. The non-static methods cannot call without object. They are belongs to the object, right? Initially, in previous in past, like in few examples, we are created non-static methods. We are created method to call them, right? Without method, we cannot call the non-static methods. So this is how we can say that the static and non-static. So in simple words, I would say statics are belongs to the class. So using the class name, you can use them, or if there is some variables and methods of non-static, you need to definitely use a you need to definitely create an object of the class, and can use them, right? Yeah, this is all about the today's lecture. Thank you for watching.